Boom, boom, ba-doom, boom, 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 boom, boom. So here we are. The internet can totally see you now. To stop, use your encoder. So, got a couple of seconds here before we begin. I just thought I'd log in early to see if anybody was out there waiting. Just couldn't wait to hear from me today. Oh, you can see me? Or you're logged in? Yeah. Okay. I'm just going to chat here. Hey there, PTPOP here. All four lobes of my brain securely bound behind my back. And tonight I'm actually broadcasting to you live from the beautiful shores of the Cuyahoga River, which is a river that runs through Cleveland. And behind me, is a picture I took of the Detroit Superior Bridge, which is that thing right there. And that's the Key Bank building. And that's the terminal tower right there. And let's see, which way do I go here? That brown building is the Huntington Bank building. So it's actually a green screen, quite frankly. I'm not on the shores of beautiful Cuyahoga River, but I am broadcasting live. This is live, and I appreciate all of you who are tuned in and came to see me speak live on the internets. And before we get going, I have a visitor who has been anxious all day long. He's been bugging me all day long to say hello. Mr. Oingo Boingo. Wow. Bill Fleetemeister dropped him off earlier and said, you know, you've got to put Oingo Boingo on TV. So there you have it, Oingo Boingo. There you are. So today, what I wanted to do and why I invited you all here. I'm sure you've all wondered why I've invited you all here. Sounds like an old mystery movie. The number one thing today is I wanted to thank everyone who has subscribed to my channel. I want to kind of do it in person. I've made videos about it, but I want to give you a little bit of background about where I used to be as far as a YouTuber and where I am now. And all of my subscribers have made this possible. Now, I'm not really big. I'm not big like Mark Dice or Alex Jones. I watch both of those guys, but I don't have anywhere near the subscribers, and I don't cover those type of topics. But from May 2016 through May 2017, I only had 54 subscribers. That was all I had. And very few people watched my videos. And then one day, I created a video about Restless Leg Syndrome, because I used to suffer from Restless Leg Syndrome. It was really bad. I could never sleep. And I discovered that it was something that I was eating. I decided it was I had to eliminate something from my diet in order to be able to sleep again. So eventually I narrowed it down to snack foods and to water. I made this video about how I eliminated bottled water, not tap water, but bottled water from my diet. My Restless Leg Syndrome subsided, pretty much went away. So I made this video about it and how I kind of cured myself, and I got, up to this point, I've gotten about 40,000 views, which for me is a lot. And it's not paid, it's just all organic views. And people from around the world have contacted me. And that's gotten a lot of my subscriptions up. And I also started making videos about call centers, because I've worked in call centers for years and years and years, probably since 1990. And when I was younger and I worked in call centers, it was an okay job. But as I got older, it just seemed like I hated them. I just couldn't stand it. And everybody around me seemed to be having this great time. Everyone was enjoying themselves. And I thought, am I the only one that's miserable at this job? And I'd be sitting there, and the person to my left and the person to my right, they wouldn't complain about the job. They wouldn't complain about their boss. They wouldn't complain about the callers. They were all just happy, and they'd come into work, and they'd sit down, and they'd go home. And I thought, these people are crazy. I mean, nobody complained whatsoever. And when I started making videos, and I felt completely alone. I felt like no one understood how horrible a call center job is, because in my and many other people's opinions, this is the modern day sweatshop of the corporate world. And I thought, I'm the only one. I'm the only one that either I just don't get it or something else. I couldn't figure it out, but I just was not understanding this call center thing, and I felt like I was the only one that didn't like it. Well, I make these videos about call centers, and all of a sudden, I started getting responses from people from around the globe, literally. I've talked to men and women from Puerto Rico, India, Pakistan, Great Britain, you know, the Great Britons, Ireland, Scotland, England, Australia, even though Australia I don't believe is part of the Britons anymore, but I'm not real good at my history and my geography. But I started hearing from people from all around the globe with the exact same experiences I had had, feeling the exact same way I had felt and still do. And all of a sudden I felt like I wasn't alone anymore. And I know that sounds corny, but I really didn't feel I was alone anymore. It was just such a nice feeling to hear that there were other people in the world that shared the same misery that I was experiencing. And so my call center videos and my RLS videos have really gotten a lot of subscribers come to my channel, got me a lot of views. And the unfortunate part of it all is that YouTube has changed. I've been a member of YouTube for 10 years, and over those 10 years, I've gradually increased my viewers and everything, but I've also increased the quality of my videos. I've got better cameras and better microphones, and I've invested a lot of time and money into it, and then YouTube changed all their rules and took monetization away, and they're closing channels down and all that stuff. So I don't know where I'll be in a couple of months. Recently, I got a community strike on my channel for making an idiotic video about Yoko Ono and John Lennon. And it was this silly video where, you know, I had it marked as a rare bootleg audio recording of John and Yoko circa 1980 or something like that. And it was just an audio recording I made up with me playing John and me playing Yoko. And it was John smelling Yoko's farts and going, "Oh, they smell like roses." And I don't know, either YouTube didn't like it. The video's a year old. And they found it and they flagged it and they took it down. They gave me a community strike. But I personally think that somebody I personally know didn't like the video because they're a huge Yoko fan, and they flagged it and got YouTube involved. But that's neither here nor there. One of my subscribers asked me why I started a YouTube channel, and I want to kind of address that. When I was a kid in high school, I used to hang out with these guys. They were all my friends from high school, and we would go out on Friday night and we would walk around town. We lived in a small town in northeast Ohio, and they'd park at my house or they'd come to my house, and then we'd walk up to a local pizza parlor and we'd, you know, order pizza, then we'd play video games. And while we were walking around town, I carried a pocket tape recorder with me, and we would record silly things, audio things, saying weird things. Eventually it evolved into the point where we were sitting in somebody's living room and we were making, you know, audio comedy tapes. And it just kind of is something that I've done since I was a kid. And then in college, when I went to college, I started making comedy tapes, audio tapes, and I'd mail them to my friends at home, back home. And so it's always been something that's in me. I've always wanted to create. I've always been very creative. And, you know, those audio tapes are still rolling around here somewhere. I have one of us walking around town that I dumped off, and I put it into the computer and transferred it from analog tape to digital, but I don't know where it is. The other thing is, YouTube is, I originally got on YouTube just for the fun of it. It wasn't meant to be a source of income, or it wasn't meant to be a huge creative endeavor. I just started making goofy videos when I lived out in Arizona, and the first video I made, still on this channel, is called Kamikaze Bird Cam, and it's really bad. I think it's filmed with a Kodak Z740 that I had taped to my dashboard of my Honda Accord, and there was this highway, these two east-westbound highways in Arizona, the 60 and the 202, and these birds, these like prehistoric, I don't know what they were, like prehistoric crows, these massive black birds that lived in the grass on either side of the highway, would jump up in the air and dive down on the cars going, you know, 70, 80 miles an hour, and the birds would come down, get sucked into the whip stream, the stream of the car, the airstream going around the car, and they'd splat on the windshield of our car or the hoods of our cars, and it was this craziest thing. So I just thought it was funny, and occasionally I'll make a music video of my own personal music or doing a cover tune and things like that, and I'll put it up there. And I just putzed around with it for a couple of years until probably just a couple of years ago. So yeah, I started off from May 2016 to May 2017. I only had 54 subscribers, and now I have 830. I think actually today I have 835. So at one time I only had 54 subscribers. Now, after just putting a little bit of effort into the channel over the last 2 years, I've increased my views exponentially, my viewers exponentially, and I thank everybody for that, for watching. So it's been really nice to talk to people from around the world, to commiserate, to look for ways to improve things. And YouTube's been a tremendous platform for all that stuff. A bunch of people have suggested that I do stand-up comedy, and that's really nice of all of you that have said that. Now, I have never considered myself a comedian or even thought of doing stand-up comedy until people said, well, you should do stand-up. You should do stand-up. And I'm like, I don't know, you know. I don't even know who I would be. You know, like Rodney Dangerfield. You know, my wife, she's a terrible cook. How do you get bones and toast? You know, I don't know if that's really for me, but since it was suggested, I'm not going to do it tonight, but I did come up with a comedy routine. I've got it on my notepad here on my iPhone of a bunch of jokes. And one day, I think what I'm going to do is just create a video as if I'm on stage. You know, I'll do green screen like I'm on the Tonight Show or something. I'd be like, hey, how y'all doing? How's your steak down there, Bill? You know, I don't know. But it's funny because I'm glad I make people laugh. My mom had a saying, you either laugh or you cry. And I prefer to laugh. Laughter and comedy has gotten me through a lot of bad stuff and good stuff. And I've always been into comedians. And so it's nice if somebody thinks I'm funny. And so I also wanted to tell you about a couple things I've got going on, or I've had going on, and new things going on. I had this idea for a book about 4 years ago. A book about John Lennon faking his own death. Former Beatle John Lennon fakes his own death on December 8th, 1980. And I kept putting it off and putting it off. I thought, well, you know, how am I going to write this book? And one day my wife just said, just write the book. Just do it, will you? And stop bugging me about this damn book. So I wrote this book. This book is a book called Breathe. John Lennon, Conspiracy to Murder. This is a book of fiction. I am not implying that John Lennon actually faked his own death, or did he? And the basic premise of this book is former Beatle John Lennon had grown weary of being famous. The title of being a Beatle hung around his neck like an albatross. The Beatles had been a group for 10 years, and still he and Yoko were hounded by the press and paparazzi. There seemed to be no escape from the scrutiny he and his wife had been experiencing since 1969, until he met Ray Greiner, the owner of Bon Voyage Yacht Club in Rhode Island, who could give John a way to vanish into thin air. So this is a book about John faking his death. It's for sale right now on Amazon, on Kindle, and in paperback and on ebook, but it's on Amazon Kindle, and you can purchase this. I think it's for I think paperback's like $6.99 or something, and the Kindle is like $2.99. It's pretty inexpensive. It's an easy read. It's an interesting book, and I've gotten some good reviews on it online, so check that out. Then I had an idea for another book based off of my own personal experiences, and what had happened is in Facebook had brought me in touch, or put me in touch with all these people I hadn't seen in 30 or 40 years, some cases. And there were some guys I used to hang out with when I was really little, between 8 and 10 years of age. I lived in these apartments in the town I grew up in, and there were like 5 or 10 guys, and we all hung out together. And we would play baseball, and we'd play football together in this big field in front of our apartments. And the group of guys, it was a lot like that movie Sandlot. And we just, as we started to reconnect through Facebook, we started to have flashbacks and talk about the good old days of being a 10-year-old kid playing baseball and football out in the field, or out in the neighborhood and stuff. And we were saying how it was just like Sandlot, and we would sing songs on the school bus to and from the elementary school. There was this guy named Tony who would sing-alongs of like Jeremiah Was a Bullfrog by the Three Dog Night and stuff like that. And it was just a great time. And we all found as we've gotten older, we wish we could go back to being 10 years old again. And so this book is about a guy like myself who has come to this place in his life where he's about to turn 50, and he wishes he could be 10 years old again, so he could re-experience the good old days where there's no worries, there's no problems, no jobs, there's no money issues, nothing like that. Because when you get older, you run into all kinds of things you're not expecting as a kid. So this is my book called Small, and I think the green screen is doing it in. Small is on paperback. It's in paperback and an ebook on Kindle, and it goes for the same price as the book Breathe. And this is a book that the guy meets an exotic gypsy woman who makes his wish come true, and he gets to go back to being 10 years old again. So it's a book about time travel and getting to relive your childhood again. So check those out. Now, for all of you call center people who have watched me over the years, over the year or two, I have a third book I'm writing, which is a book about 2 men that work in a call center. Their dismal lives in a call center, and it's actually a murder mystery book. And these 2 guys despise their lives in a call center, and a variety of things are going on. I'm about maybe halfway, almost 3/4 of the way through the book. I'm just trying to wrap it up now. I'm hoping, I was going to have it done this summer, but it doesn't look like it's going to be anywhere near done before August. And I whittle away at it a little bit at a time, over every day. I put, a paragraph here, a paragraph there. I'd never written a book before, and I just started doing it one day, and things just kind of started pouring out of my head, if you know what I mean. To support my call center endeavors and to support my channels here on YouTube, I have a t-shirt for sale on teespring.com. That's TEESPRING.com. And my t-shirt is called Call Center Survivor. And I don't have a graphic for it here. I've had it in other videos. But if you care to support my channel and you purchase one of these t-shirts, I get a couple of dollars from each t-shirt. I get maybe $8 to $10 from the sale. And it's a cool t-shirt to design. I designed it myself. I think you'll really like it, especially if you are our call center survivor. And want to mention that. And also, there's a subscriber on here who said to me that I appear to be the most miserable human being in the world because I've worked in call centers. And I wanted to address that. And I kind of addressed it in another video. But honestly, I am not a miserable human being right now. And I don't make the videos because I'm miserable. I make the videos because I want the world to know how awful call centers are, plain and simple. And by sharing my experiences with the world, I can let people know that if they work in a call center, number one, they're not alone, and number two, the people that call into call centers that don't know what they're like can find out what a hellhole it is that they're calling into. Because your average American or Pakistani or whoever it is calling into a call center does not have any idea who they're dealing with on the other end of the phone, the poor training they've gotten, how poorly treated they are, how they're just thrown onto the phones. And I try to let everybody know that they've got to be kinder to the people they talk to on the phones, because the people on the phones genuinely want to try to help, but they've gotten such horrible training and been pushed on the phones. It's baptism by fire. They're just hitting the beaches with bullets flying, so to speak. And you've got to understand that if the people that are in the call centers that answer the phones, regardless of their nationality, regardless of where they live in the world, are not there to give you heartache. They're trying their best to get you the most accurate information that you want. And if I seem miserable because of this, when I'm talking about it, you know, it's like I have flashbacks. I have to relive the things I went through in these call centers. And I know this guy, one of my subscribers said, well, you're a miserable human being, and why do you keep working in these call centers? Well, I don't work in call centers anymore, and I won't work in call centers anymore. But he also said, you're just painting with general brushstrokes. You're just hitting everything with a broad brushstroke and saying all call centers are like this. And he said, I happen to know for a fact that they're not. And I challenged this person. I said, well, if they're not, where do you work? Tell me this wonderful call center you work in that pays you a living wage with good benefits, with a nice supervisor, with good teammates, where you're given like 6 months of training, and they keep training you constantly while you're on the phones, and you can go to the bathroom when you want, and you don't have to wear Depends to work and wet yourself while you're at your desk. You know, I mean, this guy just basically said that I was wrong. My videos were wrong, and I can prove that I'm right because I've had thousands of people watch my videos from around the world. I've spoken to current and former call center reps from India, England, Ireland, Scotland, Australia, Pakistan, France, Italy. I don't think they have any call centers in Mexico. I don't think I've talked to anybody in Mexico. But I've talked to people from like 50 countries. And everybody has said to me, your videos are spot on, they're 100% correct. So this one person just kind of, you know, had this impression that I'm just making stuff up or I'm just generalizing just to make videos or something. No, I mean, I do make videos now because I know people watch them. But I know it's something that people want to see and they want to hear them. You know, they want to hear about it. But it's also for educational purposes. But it's not a general brushstroke or a generalization. These call centers are atrocious. And the sad thing about them is that nobody wants to do anything about it. Some of them are unionized, but the unions are just taking advantage of the employees. They're charging them a union due that comes out of their paycheck. They don't really stand up for them. You know, they don't really have a better work environment than the people that are non-unionized. So, but I have talked to people from all walks of life, all races, creeds, colors, whatever you want to call it, and everybody has seen the same thing: mental breakdown of people, emotional breakdown of the employees, bad working environments, paramedics showing up. Some of the call centers, as one guy told me, and I think it was India, they have jumping nets. They literally have nets around their building because people get so depressed that they jump from the roof to kill themselves. That's a call center like in India. And they have to put nets that, you know, probably he didn't show me a picture, but they stretch out, imagine, at least 30, 40 feet from the building, so the people jumping can't get beyond the net. They just land in the net if they happen to jump. I don't know many companies or many positions, career positions, that have jumping nets around the building. I mean, that's pretty bad. And I'm not making that up. That comes from one of my subscribers. So the call centers, this is just not my opinion, this is fact. Call centers are a modern day sweatshop. And I'm just trying to spread the news. And it seems like this is what happens in the United States. You have XYZ company, and let's say half the call center is rumored to is rumored, you know, the top echelon of the company, the upper management, here's a rumor that the call center wants to unionize. So they put into works a plan to outsource everything. So at the risk of being unionized, they'd rather outsource the job to India or to Pakistan or to the Philippines before they allow the shop to be unionized. They also will outsource these call centers to other countries. Now, a guy just told me it wasn't Puerto Rico. I can't remember the country, but it was like Puerto Rico. Let's say it was Puerto Rico. He was in a call center in Puerto Rico. He said he made $4 to $5 an hour. Rent for like a one-room or one-bedroom apartment there was like $400 to $600 a month, and he gave me a breakdown of all. I'm sorry if you're watching, dude. I don't remember your name because I didn't write it down. Just that's bad on my part. Peace and love, Ringo Starr. But he gave me a breakdown of the cost of living in that particular country, rice and food and water. And this is what American companies will do: is they will outsource things to other countries that have a lower cost of living. And the companies will do this so they don't have to pay $10 to $15 an hour salary. They don't have to pay insurance. They don't have to pay rent. They don't have to worry about hiring or firing. It's all done by another company. They'll outsource it to XYZ Corporation in Puerto Rico or India or Pakistan. And that company inherits all the headaches that come with a call center, including maintenance of the grounds, upkeep of the hardware, and upgrades of the software, seats, cubicles, lighting, electricity. And the U.S. guy sits back with the cigar and goes, well, I gave it to XYZ Corporation in India. We don't have to worry about that no more. And they're just taking advantage of people in other countries where the unemployment is low. This guy told me that the unemployment, I'm sorry, not low, is high. This guy told me in Puerto Rico, I don't remember the name of the country, that the unemployment was through the roof. So these companies would be drooling, just chomping at the bit to get the American companies to come and bring their call center there to give their people a job. But he said these jobs were killing people because the stress is so high. You know, people were dropping like flies. So it appears that the major corporations around the world want nothing to do whatsoever with improving a call center or anything like that. So I don't know what to do, but I thought, you know, what can you do about it? But now major companies like Verizon Wireless, they're closing their call centers. They just recently closed, I think, 9 more of like the remaining 16 or something, and they're having people work from home now. And this again is another way of cutting back on costs, because now the physical employee is sitting at home and the employee is responsible for the upkeep of their own home or their own apartment, getting a high-speed data circuit into their house to handle the computer bandwidth and a phone line. I'm sure the company reimburses them to some degree or for part of it. But they're always looking for a way to save money. So the guy with the cigar and the bottle of brandy around the oak table can get on his yacht and cruise to the Bahamas while everybody else is struggling to make ends meet. And that's just the corporate world, whether it's America or Great Britain or whatever it happens to be. So I don't know what to do about it. I've thought about it, and I talked to somebody who was trying to unionize Verizon Wireless and trying to unionize another company, but yeah, I didn't really get much out of her. So to change topics here, more positive topic, I am a musician. For those of you who watch my channel, you know I play guitar and I sing and write songs. Ooh, I bumped my microphone. Oh my God. I am going to be playing guitar at a small, like, antique market this summer, once every month, at a place called the Vintage Market Square in Olmsted Falls, Ohio. And I made another video about it, but stop out and check me out if you want to say hi, if you're from the Cleveland, Ohio area. And I also do photography and video, and I'm currently making videos and selling them on like Pond 5, iStock Photo, iStock Video, Getty. I just got onto Getty, and I think Getty purchased iStock, so some of my stuff is already on Getty. And if you have any ideas for videos, or if you're in need, if you're a web designer or a designer of any sort, and you need some type of video or still photography done for your web design or for your graphic design, I can do it for you. Definitely can. Got all kinds of props. I got all kinds of ideas. I've got the lighting and the cameras. I have the technology, and I'd be glad to talk with you. Just contact me on here and let me know what you need, and we can go from there. But I have examples on iStock Photo. I've got a portfolio on Pond 5 and on Shutterstock. I'm on a bunch of them, and it's a really great way to promote yourself and get a portfolio going, and to sell some of your creative stuff and make some money off of it. So, but again, if you're a graphic designer or web designer, you need video, you need still photography, let me know. If you're watching me from the Cleveland area, I do real estate photography. I have a Phantom 4 drone, so I can do aerial shots of some of your larger properties. I do portrait photography, photo restoration, a whole bunch of things. Anything to do with video and photography, I can do it. I do not do weddings. I do not do. I'm a one-man band here, and weddings take more than one person to do a whole wedding. And that's about it. So once again, just to kind of wrap up here, I wanted to thank everybody who has signed up for my channel. I'm greatly appreciative. That's great grammar, isn't it, for a writer? He writes real good, Ma. Once again, I owe it to all of you for subscribing and coming out to my channel and watching. Between May of 2016 and May of 2017, I only had 54 subscribers. I now have 835. The sad part of it is I don't know how much longer I'm going to be around. I just don't know, because I think YouTube is trying to squish out all the little guys like me and get rid of us, so they can just replace YouTube and make it just an online network TV station, which is what it's becoming. They're just going to show junk like you see on CNN and ABC, CBS, NBC. It's just going to become another channel for the government, the New World Order, and the CIA to control everybody. But that's a whole other story. I don't want to go down there. Oh, you know, one last thing is, a lot of people hear me make these references to Ringo Starr. Peace and love. I kind of like to mock Ringo Starr, because he's a bit full of himself. He's all about peace and love, but about 7 years ago he decided he wasn't going to give any more autographs, no more autographs. I would think if the guy were really about peace and love, he wouldn't care about his autographs. But what he did, this is what the man did with his peace and love campaign to get rid of his autographs. When he decided to not give out any more autographs, it was a way to increase the price of his autograph. It was a brilliant move, because the minute he said no more autographs, his autograph probably went up in value, probably doubled in value, because now to get his autograph, it's almost impossible probably to find it, if anybody's even looking for it anymore. But now if you find one that's from the day he said no more, like if he gave his last autograph on that day, he said, that's it, that's the last one, peace and love, that one's probably worth $1 million. And he's probably selling his autographs online on like eBay or something under a fictitious name, like, you know, Starkey's Machine, you know, something like that. So I make fun of Ringo because I think he's a bit full of himself. You know, peace and love. My guitar pick here. Peace and love, I'm Ringo, still the world's greatest known drummer. Not the greatest drummer, but just the greatest known drummer. Well known, peace and love. We all live in a yellow tangerine. So there you have it. So thanks for watching. I just want to give everybody a bit of an update, and thank everybody for your support, and keep watching. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed already, and you have a great week, and a happy June. June's right around the corner, and I'm in beautiful sunny downtown Cleveland on the shores of the Cuyahoga River. Have a good night. Take care, everybody, and thanks for watching. Bye.